This article is titled "The Sun." You may have heard people use the term solar energy. They're probably talking about the technology that powers a house or heats a swimming pool. But there's only one place that you can find true solar energy: the sun. Without the sun, there wouldn't be life on Earth. The sun provides us with both light and heat. It is at the very center of our solar system, with all 8 planets revolving around it. The planets, moons, thousands of asteroids, and trillions of comets also revolve around the sun. From Earth, we can see the sun as a bright yellow dot in the sky that's sometimes hidden by clouds. But the sun is actually a glowing ball of fiery gas. The part of the sun that we see has a temperature of 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit or 5,600 degrees Celsius. Inside the sun, at its core, the temperature is 27 million degrees, which is 15 million degrees Celsius. The core is where the sun's incredible energy is created. The temperature is so extreme that nuclear reactions take place and energy travels to the surface of the sun. That energy is then released as light and heat. It takes 1,000,000 years for energy produced in the sun's core to reach its surface. Besides being hotter than we can even imagine, the sun is amazingly big. You can fit more than 1,000,000 Earths inside the sun. But believe it or not, the sun isn't anywhere close to being the biggest object in the universe. The sun is actually a star, just like the others you see at night. It's about an average in size when compared to the other stars. But here on Earth, there's nothing average about the sun. Our moon. Jupiter and Saturn have more than 60 moons each. Neptune has 13, Mars has 2, but if somebody says the moon, we know exactly what they're talking about. It's Earth's moon, our closest neighbor in outer space. The moon is the second brightest spot in the sky after the sun. It orbits around the Earth once a month, going through lunar phases. Sometimes the moon will look like a shiny, curved sliver called a crescent. Later, it becomes a glowing full moon. These phases are caused by the changing angles of where the Earth, moon, and sun are relative to one another. The moon might be the closest thing to us in space, but it's still far away, far, far away, about 250,000 miles away. It's also much smaller. About 50 moons could fit inside Earth. Temperatures can be extreme, as hot as 250 degrees Fahrenheit or as cold as minus 250 degrees Fahrenheit. That's why astronauts had to wear special spacesuits when they first landed on the moon. Besides protecting them from the extreme temperatures, the suits provided enough oxygen for the astronauts to breathe. July 20th, 1969 is one of the most important dates in history. It's when America's Apollo 11 astronauts landed on the moon. The first man to walk on the moon was Neil Armstrong. Right afterward, he had said some of the most famous words ever. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. You might ask your parents, grandparents, or teachers where they were when we first landed on the moon. If they were born and weren't too young, they'll remember. Life has never been quite the same here on Earth now that we explored our closest neighbor in space.